I'll do a texture over the cloak. It's the same for a skin or whatever you want. Is about to creating a texture and create an effect on the surface of the miniature. Okay, so first I applied a dark base coat over the surface, and I'll start to do the light with this texture. I'll choose a lighter color like this. This one. This one. And some of these, that is the base color I use for the cloak. For a skin, you only changing the colors could have results similar to the one of the orc that you said. I'm trying to achieve a lighter color and to not lose too much saturation. So this is why I'm adding orange. Okay, something like that. For my first layer of lights, I don't need to have a too light color, so this will work for this. And I'll start to add the texture, making this kind of lines, dots, and combining them. And I'll start to do these lights onto the upper parts of the wrinkles in this way. Probably if you are painting a skin, you'll need to adapt the shapes, and you'll need to do this kind of texture more rounded and more organic to adapt.
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur.
Okay, so you'll see that I'm trying to make the lights, but not to paint the deeper parts of the shadows, and I'm creating a volume.
You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with
In this way you will see how the texture is built, and you don't need to be very precise because this makes fresh effect on the texture instead of doing precise lines like this one. This will create another texture, okay? Could be interesting, but in this case I'm creating something more spare. And it is important to leave some dark lines between the lighter ones. I'm trying to not cover all the surface with the light.
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you.
You can go over some parts in order to give more light, and this wrinkle needs a little bit of light inside. For a skin is pretty the same. You will see that I'm making some lines, some dots randomly. More random, more natural will look at the end.
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have.
Okay, I will make this part only to speed up the process. And I need to highlight the edges a little bit.
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were.
And you'll see that I'm making the lines mostly in this direction, but you could add some lines in this direction. Probably it's better to make in this piece of cloth, but in the skin you don't need it to make it.
Time I take one step forward, I take two back with you.
Okay, so this is my first layer of lights, and now I'm Continuing with the lights with a lighter color like this one. Something like that. The paint you don't need to dilute too much, because you need a paint that covers the surface quickly.
To what we were, you brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that it's making?
And I'm making the same stripes, lines, dots that I made before, but in a smaller area, to create a sense of
Back with you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one.
the edges are very important to highlight. And you could draw a little bit more with this lighter color, some parts like this, to create scratches. But again, probably in a skin you don't need it.
All a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take
And with this light, you don't need to cover all the previous light, only a little bit in order to create the gradient.
We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good.
In the upper parts I will apply more light in order to create more exposed parts.
You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you.
But it's important to keep the dark lines between the lighter ones, because you don't need to lose the texture.
With you. With you. I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad.
this light in the darker wrinkles works way better in a skin, so try it because this looks so nice and gives to the surface more light. As you can see, in the upper parts I apply more light than in the lower one.
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making
And this is the way I used to build the light on the textures. Is almost the same process in all the light bases that I apply.
every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, with you. Oh, with you. I'm trying to walk slow.
Here I need a strong point of light, so I apply this layer in a more heavy way.
And bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward.
So I will add a final coat of lights with a lighter color. I will add some blue to saturate a little bit.
Every time I take one. Every time I take one. Every time I
Don't worry about the color, because in the next step I will smooth the transitions with the airbrush, and I will use this step to change a little bit the the color, add tones and so on. It's lighter than the color, the final color, so I'm making this layer lighter than the final result. And in this part I reduce the surface of the lights, so little touches are needed.
We can't go back to what we were.
Like this. It's like it was points of light, little points of light.
You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward.
But this layer will give more definition to the texture. You see?
Fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were.
Of course, in the edge.
It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Oh, oh, oh.
And as before, I make more lighter this part. You see the contrast?
With you, I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth?
And as I did before in this part, I'll make more dots, lines, and so on with this lighter color in order to create a point of light.
with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's made
Okay, so this is my sketch for the texture. And I'll start to make some smoothing with the airbrush. For make the smoothing, I will choose a medium tone, not too light, not too dark. And a little bit more saturated than the previous layers. So I will use some orange as before and some brown here,
I'm trying to walk slow.
some of this
We move so fast, it's all a
and some orange as well.
down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad.
Something like that. Okay,
You're all that I have. Every time I take one
the dilution must be medium high because I don't want to cover totally the previous work. Okay, and let's start. Making thin layers with the airbrush, you'll see that the color of the surface is starting to change. Mostly I paint the medium and the shadow, the medium tones and the shadow, but I'm painting in the light because it's very difficult to not paint onto a light, but it's not a problem for me. I'm adding more smoothness to the texture and more variety of tones. I need to apply several layers because the dilution of the paint is high, but it's better in this way because you won't make mistakes in this way. You can erase all the previous work. Okay, so I apply this until I'm happy with the results. Of course, I'm losing light, losing shadow, losing contrast in general, but I have now more nice finish, and I will add also more deeper shadows with a darker color. A little bit of deep red will work, like that, and maybe a little bit of blue. To make it more darker. A touch of blue only. Okay, I think this is good. Let's try it. And this color I'll apply only in the deepest creases of the wrinkles. Like this. Little touches only, this way. Okay, and I'll add some variety of tones with a little bit of green, like this one. And this will give me more chromatic variety. Okay, and again with little touches will be enough. Something subtle, okay? Like this. It's important to not overdo with the tone. Something like that. Okay, so this is basically the main process. So you could start now to redo it again. You want to work again on the texture. So now I'll mix again a light color like this, and I'll start to defining again the lights that I may lose in the previous steps, but only a little bit. Some teeny dots, some lines. I could make more stronger lights here with a lighter mix and some touches like this.
Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm making more defined the texture again in some places, mainly in the lights, because in the previous steps I lose some definition, some contrast, but this is the way to get it again. But the work is almost done. You don't need to redo it again, some little touches.
But is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one. Every time I take one, every time I take one. I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights were
Okay. So
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were. You brought me good and bad, but is your love worth all that? It's making me feel mad. You're all that I have. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you. Every time I take one step forward, I take two back with you, you. Every time I take one, every time I take one.
So this is the process, basically, to create this kind of textures. Um, you could work more until you are happy with the results, and that's all.
I'm trying to walk slow. We move so fast, it's all a blur. The fights wore my heart down. We can't go back to what we were.